Hey, 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 how are you? So great to be with you today. For those who don't know me, my name's Karen Woods. I am a coach and I help people enrich their life by, giving them some confidence, but starting, first and foremost with health and nutrition and changing their life from whatever it is into a healthy, active lifestyle with the energy to do so. And so today it's it's a huge privilege to come and share with you an amazing story about a wonderful young gentleman that I met several years ago. And then I met his wife and I met his children. And, I'm very privileged to call him my friend. And he's got a really great story and something I think that so many people may be able to relate to, especially the dads. Alrighty, so he's got 3 young, beautiful girls, which you'll hear about, and that takes some effort, as a dad, to raise 3 young, strong girls. They're still young, but he has learned some lessons about himself along the way and how it's transformed not only his life but his family's life. And then from there, it's impacted lots of other people. So without further ado, I'm going to welcome to the call an amazing gentleman, my very good friend, Mr. Chris Grace. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you so much, Karen. And firstly, I'd like to say thank you to you for inviting me to come along. Look, there's not a lot that I can say about you. I really appreciate it, and I feel super honored that you've asked me to come along. You haven't just impacted my life, but you've impacted my wife's life, my kids' lives, my mom's life, in so many amazing ways. So firstly, thank you. Super honored to be on this call, and I really do appreciate it. And a massive thank you to you.
Oh, thank you so much, Chris. And it really is my pleasure. And we always talk about paying it forward, which is in turn what you did. So, Chris, we met several years ago now, and could you tell people who Chris Grace was then?
Yeah, definitely. So I guess my journey sort of started out. I was at a place where I was working out. So I've always been a very someone that loves to play sports, someone that's always been very active, and I've always really enjoyed getting busy with my life. But I was at a point where I was working out so much and just wasn't seeing the results. So I'd been trying fad diets. I'd been trying anything just to lose a bit of weight. And I was at a point in my life where I wasn't losing any more weight. I was looking for something to help with energy. I was just looking for something a little bit different that was really going to help me get some results that I was looking for. The dad that I wanted to be to my kids. I was coming home from work. I was always tired. I was sort of that dad that would get home from work and I'd be like, look, kids, let's just put something on the TV. Dad just doesn't want to do anything. My wife, we joke about it. My wife didn't really have a husband. She had a husband, but I was there in person, but not mentally and not there for her. And I was there as a dad, but I really wasn't there mentally, if that made sense. So that was sort of me, sort of just to give you a rough idea. A dad at that stage. We just had the 2 kids. So my eldest daughter and my middle daughter. I was active, as I say. I was training at the gym 1-2 times a day, 5, 6, sometimes 7 days a week, depending on what I could do. I was working 40-hour week, plus or minus a few extra bits and pieces, and just trying to do whatever I could, which I thought was doing the best that I could with what I had. And I guess that was sort of where I was at. Yeah, that's probably the best way to explain it.
Yeah, no, awesome. And so I know, obviously, you got to a point in your life that you had said enough is enough. I'm sick of where I'm at. So what was the catalyst that you wanted to change? What was it that you said, right, I'm willing? Because when we met, you were very excited to come to our fit group, but you're also then very skeptical around what was happening.
Yeah, definitely. So for me, as I said, I've always been a fitness person. I've always been into training with in groups with people on teams. So for me, obviously, that was the first thing I seen. Obviously, I remember I seen you in the tent at the local markets the first time that we've been to the markets, and I was like, I remember seeing the poster of Cristiano Ronaldo and just sort of identifying that, but I was like, well, what is it? And I know that we were talking, um, and I know that we spoke about like my nutrition side and what I was looking for from the weight side. But what really got me was that you said to me, "Hey, look, maybe come down, check it out. We've got a fit club. We run it. Lots of people there. Come and check out the workout." So for me, I was in. Like it. All you had to say to me was come and jump in, join in with a workout and group of people. And look, I was in. That was a no-brainer for me, no questions. I remember going along, and the first night I went along, it caught me because I was like, wow, like I thought I was fit. I definitely wasn't fit. It gave me a workout. It made me realize that I had a lot to go and a lot to improve on. But what really got me was there were some stories that were shared that night that really opened my eyes up to going, okay, well, there's more to life than just working out, hitting the weight. And I guess I was at a point where I was sort of banging my head against the wall at the gym, and I really wasn't getting anywhere. And it wasn't until someone had shared their story and said, and they were talking about the nutrition and really how they had started to fuel their body and started to get an energy shift. And I remember from there, we sort of had that discussion, and you said, hey, look, why don't you get on a trial? I offer trials. Let's get you on a trial. Try it out for 3 days, and let's see how you go. Now, for me, I was like, well, look, it's 3 days. What have I got to lose, other than a bit of weight? So I jumped on the 3-day trial. I got going, and I remember day 4. Look, I'll be honest. I'd never had anybody message me on a day-to-day basis like you did, where you were checking up on me, seeing how I was going, seeing how I was doing, seeing if there was anything that you could help me with. And I was like, hang on a minute. To me, that wasn't normal. Like, to me, that was like someone actually cared about where I was going and what I was doing. And I had never had that from a coach before or someone that was really trying to help me out. So first of all, I was like, whoa, what's going on here? And then I remember coming to see you day 4, jumped on the scales, and the result, I couldn't believe the result of my weight. So that was the biggest notice for me, was I had lost weight. My energy shift had slightly started moving, but to be honest, I didn't have that much of an energy shift. But for me, it was that weight loss. And I was like, holy moly, like I'd been pushing so hard at the gym and hadn't ever seen a result like I'd seen in the 3 days, that I was like, okay, where do we go from here? And obviously, to cut a long story short, I got started on my program from there. I got started on my meal plan. And I didn't really look back. Like I went forward. Obviously, we had a few hurdles over the next year. I was always, I probably pushed your buttons a lot by asking a lot of questions, saying like that things aren't working and like this is working, but I want more from it. And I guess for me, it was I started to see some results of myself where I was happy. But the biggest thing that I noticed was that my energy shift changed. And for me, having that energy around going to work, working out, but more so coming home and being able to play with my kids. Like, look, if you're a dad, I'm sure you get there, you get to play with your kids. But look, going from a person who didn't really get to play with their kids in the park or get to run around, because after about 2 minutes of running, I was sweating, I was out of breath, and I really didn't want to play anymore because I felt sick of myself. Like I felt bad in myself because I couldn't give, like, why am I tired? If that makes sense. Like I was playing with the kids and I was like, why is dad tired and they're not? And I didn't want them to see that. I didn't want them. It was a bit of definitely self-doubt on myself, and I started questioning myself, and I just wasn't happy. And it wasn't until I seen that shift where I was now able to play with the kids. My wife had a smile on her face because she was seeing that dad and the kids were having fun. And for me, that was awesome. So fast forward, I guess, the 2 years after that.
Well, just before you go on there, Chris. So here's what's interesting. So because you're still quite young, like when you started, how old were you?
25.
25. And the beautiful thing is you and your wife are high school sweethearts. So beautiful little love story that goes on there. But here's what's interesting, because you started skeptically, but you got those results, and because of that, you could not stop talking. And then your wife got started, and a friend got started, and more friends got started. And you just seemed to be this collector of people who all wanted what you had.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that was mainly because I was excited about what I was doing and what I had. But for me, it was, I've always been someone that if I've got something good, then why I love to share whatever I'm doing, and if I feel good about it, I always want to share it with someone else. So for me, it was, well, I don't want to just feel this good, like just what are you doing? Like, do you want to come? Like, I was always inviting someone, and for me that's always been the biggest thing for me, and that's always been something that I'm super passionate about is, if I'm feeling good, who else can I help feel good?
Yeah, and I would agree with you. You've got such a beautiful heart that way. So let's touch on for a second. So a couple of years in, you were probably in the best shape of your life that you'd ever been in. But there was a problem in so far as, because, like, we want to get raw and vulnerable so people can we can unpack the story so people realize that they're not alone. And I think your story is so valuable in this arena, because so many people lose the weight, but they don't see anything different, or they don't feel anything different. And I know that the mirror wasn't your friend, but even though you were moving towards that, that process of, liking yourself a lot more, there were still some issues in how you saw yourself, right?
Yeah, 100%. I remember it like it was yesterday, and the reason I remember it is because I swore to myself that when I had that feeling, I mentally put it down in a place in my head, so I never forgot it. So if I ever felt that way again, I could go, well, hang on a minute, this is where you were. So I remember I'd lost just over 20 kgs. I was running 5 kilometers in under 30 minutes. I was the fittest and the lightest I've ever been. So to put that in perspective, like when you jump on a scale, when you look at it and you see a number that you've never seen in your entire life, like, it was amazing. So I would jump on the scale. I seen the number. I was running. I was super fit. But when I looked in the mirror, it wasn't good enough. So I was, if I didn't look in the mirror, I was like, okay, like, you're doing a great job, but you're going to the gym, you're running, you're fit, you've lost weight. I was fitting in clothes. I remember putting on a shirt in the shops with some pants. So I went in, I said to the lady, hey, look, this is my size. And she gave it to me, and I tried it on. And I remember Chaz being there, my wife. And I said, can you go get me the smaller size? Like, these are too big. And anyway, by the time I got to the size that I put on that fitted, I never, ever, like, I can't even going back to school days, I don't remember ever having that size of shirt or shorts. And I felt great. Like, I walked out, and I remember feeling absolutely awesome. But then I looked in the mirror and I was like, I just didn't see it. Like I was like, man, there was still areas of my body I still wasn't happy with. So it wasn't good enough. And I remember that like it was yesterday, because I was like, okay, well, it's not working. That was my instant thought, was something's not working. I need to change something. I need to do something else. And that was the day that my life changed, where I had to start working on my mindset. So I've been working on my mindset.
Sorry, Chris. Sorry to interrupt you here. Just to give some context here, because what probably a lot of people don't know is at school, going back to school days, you were bullied for being the fat kid, right?
Every day of every year at school, so 13 years.
And so whilst you lost the weight, the mindset hadn't caught up and dealt with any of that stuff. Would that be fair to say?
100%. I still seen the fat kid in the reflection. I still seen a fat person in the reflection. And even though I was fitting in clothes that felt amazing, and I felt amazing when I put them on, when I seen the reflection, it wasn't good enough.
So when was it that you realized that you had to work on your mindset to be able to deal with what had happened in the past, to not bring it in, like not weigh you down for the future?
Honestly, 48 days ago. So a lot of people probably go, well, what happened 48 days ago? 48 days ago was day one for me of understanding who I was and who I wanted to be, but understanding that until I changed and worked on my mindset, other stuff wasn't going to happen. So I after achieving everything I did, 48 days ago when I stood on the scale, I was the heaviest I've ever been. So I'd lost all the weight. I couldn't get my mindset right, and I put all that weight back on. Now, I accept that, and I take that on board. Like that was completely my choice and my decision. And I didn't realize I'd let it get so bad. But I knew that something had to change. So 48 days ago, I started the 75 hard challenge. With obviously you put the idea out there and asked if anyone was willing to join. We got an amazing group of people that have joined with us. And I couldn't ask for anything more. Like I didn't do the challenge to win it, because we didn't, like, it was the first challenge I've ever joined where there was no prize to be won at the end. However, the prize for me was that I was going to be a better person at the end of the 75 days. And the only person I had to compete with was myself. And I had never, ever, ever been able to say that. But more to the point of, I never, ever accepted that. And that's a term that I've come to say, but also started to believe in the last 48 days. And for me, that was the turning point of going, okay, I know where I was. I don't ever want to get back to that place. Now, when I say that, I don't want to get back to where I was the lightest I'd ever been and running 5 kilometers under 30 minutes again, before I can work on my mindset. And I'll be honest, and I was thinking about it today because I knew that I had this call, and I really wanted to express it, is that I'm happier now. So even though in the last 48 days I've lost close on 10 kgs, which is amazing, trust me, like I'm over the moon with that, and I'm stoked. But what I'm more happy about and what I'm so proud about is that I can look in the mirror And there are still some parts that I'm working on, and I'm focusing on really working on hard. But for the first time ever, I've started to say, I really like those shoulders. And I really like how your upper body's starting to look. And I'm really proud of you for who you are. And to me, that mindset shift, that mindset change, and starting to, as corny as it sounds, and I want to say it because ladies can, I believe that ladies can make the shift not as easy, but you start to be able to do it. For guys, when you start saying that you love yourself and expressing that, that's one thing. But let me tell you what isn't, is when you start saying to your wife and your kids that you love yourself, as corny as that sounds, and for guys, that's really, really hard. Trust me, like I know that. But for all the dads out there and single guys, or maybe you're looking for a partner and you don't love yourself, look, put aside a month. You have to work on telling yourself that you love yourself, because before or until you can love yourself and truly mean that you love yourself, there's no way that you can share your love properly, fully with your wife or your partner or your kids, or the rest of the world. Because to me, it's just like you're faking it. And that's just something that I've been working on. Something I've learned is that as much of a loving person that I know I am, and I'm always willing to, like, I'll give the shirt off my back to the person walking down the street. That's just me, and I'm always going to help. But I can honestly say that the lessons I've learned in the last 48 days and getting called out, like I've got to a point now where I've got friends calling me out on my own crap, and to have that happen, that's life-changing. That's 110% life-changing. And I firmly believe that's because I started to accept myself for who I am, and I've started to love Chris for who he is, and really started to get in terms with myself with who I am, who I want to be, but the impact that I want to make, and what I want to achieve going forward in life, and really leave that destiny behind for my kids and for everyone to know who Chris is. And I guess that's a question that I suppose I just want to leave that for you. If you're watching this and you're listening, that's awesome, and I really appreciate it. But I really want you to take a moment to say, and this one hit me in the face. It was a quote I read at the start of this 48-day, the 75 hard challenge, and I've been working on it every day because I wanted to have it fine-tuned at the end of this. But the question is who are you, and what do you want to be remembered for? And the reason that hit me so hard was that I lost a cousin who was 21. He didn't quite have his 21st birthday, but he was almost like my brother. And he had just moved to Australia. He had been in Australia 6 months. He passed away, and he had over 300 people at his funeral in a country he was only in for 6 months. If I can be half as great as he was, and he was the most amazing person, then I know that I've achieved something. And to be able to do that, I have to love myself first before I can go and share that love with anyone else. And I firmly believe that when I can get there, but when you can get there, then your life and your family's lives and your kids' lives and everybody else that you hang around with, you get to change their lives. And for me, that's the journey I'm on now.
That's so awesome. And, you know, like, and you know this, like, I sincerely, wish for you and long for you to understand how great you are and love yourself, so that you don't need other people's acceptance of you. And I think that's one of the hardest things. I think coming from being, a child who was bullied at school, to learning to stand in your own strength and power, to say, this is me, like it or not, it doesn't matter, not my business, but this is the impact and the mission and passion that I have. And to see you truly starting to stand up and, own that, it's really awesome. It's really awesome. So before we wrap up this call, just want to say a thank you to whoever posted. In StreamYard, we don't get to see who it is. We need to have access. You have to allow access for us to see who your name is. So it just says Facebook user. We love you for who you are, brother. It is such a great message, and so many people do. And I'm just so glad to see that you are starting to fall in love with yourself, because that's when you shine and that's when your best self comes out. So before we leave, though, I just want you to leave maybe something for those who have been bullied, have those feelings, or maybe they have children who are being bullied. What's something you can say to those people about your experience, and to help them move forward?
It's a great question, and I firmly believe, whether it's your kids, bullying is always going to happen. It's not going to change, and unfortunately, with social media, it's probably getting worse, which is what it is. But what I want you, whether you were bullied at school, your wife was bullied at school, your kids have been bullied at school, and I'm having this conversation with my girls, is don't let other people's opinions of you become your reality. I'm 29, I'm almost 30. So probably from the age of 5, maybe 6. So 6 off of that. So let's round it up. Let's say for 20 years of my life, I've let other people's opinions and thoughts of myself become my reality. And it sucked. Now, if you haven't been bullied, then I'm so proud, and that's awesome, and that's great. But reality is that there's so much bullying out there, and so much that goes on. And look, just know that you're loved by your mom, your dad, your friends, and true friends are going to love you for whoever you are. But the strongest and the one thing that I want to leave you with is when you can get to a point in your life where you can go, other people's opinions, everyone's got them, but your opinion of me is not my truth. Your opinion of me is not my truth. And when you can stand in that, and you can believe that, and you can understand that it's who you are is your truth, it doesn't matter how much bullying goes on, because you become bulletproof.
And I'm guessing also, I guess just to leave on this, but I'm guessing also it's daily work, it's work in progress, and it's something that you keep pushing past over and over and over, because I'm pretty sure in areas of life it can continue to show up in work, in friendships, in all areas, I guess. So that's something to be mindful of too, I'm guessing.
Yeah, 100%. And you just have to be mindful that you're not showing that to other people. It's always important to show that you're hurting or that you do hurt. But it's also so important to make sure that you're working on your mindset and being present in the moment to understand how you're going to work through it and what you're going to do to achieve and the greatness that you can achieve. Because I firmly believe, and look, I love everyone, but I've got a special heart in my life for people that have been through some stuff and been through bullying. And my take on it is the people that have been through the hard times are the people that are going to make massive change in life, and they're really going to make the the massive positive impact that we need. So that's just my thing on that.
Absolutely. And I couldn't agree with you more. So, because you're given the struggle to turn that into your strength, to be the hope for someone else. So I'm with you on that one. Chris, we have to wrap this up. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for sharing your heart. Thank you for being who you are. And congratulations on your 10 kilos of weight loss. That is awesome. So thank you, everyone who's joined us today. We really appreciate it. Thanks again, Chris, for being vulnerable and being willing to share. So thank you so much. Have a great day, everyone. Bye for now.
Bye, guys.